Blake Lively's life took a dramatic turn for the worse after accepting the role of Lily Bloom in It Ends With Us. The film's production uncovered troubling behavior from both Blake and her husband Ryan Reynolds, casting a shadow over their public image. A heated legal dispute with co-star Justin Baldoni has only intensified the scrutiny, and now the backlash is beginning to strain Blake's personal relationships, most notably her once close friendship with Taylor Swift. Their bond went sour almost overnight. Reports allege that Blake attempted to blackmail Taylor into publicly defending her amid the controversy, and has even been name-dropping Taylor to manipulate others for personal gain. The trust between them is reportedly shattered, and insiders say Taylor is keeping her distance. Justin Baldoni says he felt threatened and manipulated by Blake, who referenced Taylor as her bodyguard dragon in a meeting with him, while Taylor's camp exposed that she feels betrayed and manipulated by Blake for using her name in vain. It only gets worse from here, so keep on watching. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Alana here, and the more we hear about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, the messier things seem to get. The latest drama is the betrayal between Blake and her former bestie, Taylor Swift. Here's what you have to know about how Blake went from making Taylor her children's godmother to blackmailing her for public support during her legal and public battle with Justin Baldoni. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like and subscribe for more. Tell us your thoughts down in the comments below, and hit those post notifications on so you don't miss a live video. We do one for every video where we get together and chat in real time about the drama unfolding in the video. Taylor and Blake's friendship. Taylor and Blake became friends in 2015, and ever since then, their bond went from casual friends to family real quick. They grew super close after their first hangout in Australia, and since then, the two have been supporting each other at big events, online, and attending each other's parties. The two were so close that Taylor chose Blake and Ryan to be the accessory couple that gets to hang out with her and Travis during their most anticipated moments as a couple, such as the 2024 Super Bowl and attending date nights where the media swore up and down Travis is proposing any second now. The reason why I always note this when I talk about how important Blake's friendship was to Taylor is because Taylor is very intentional with anything she does in the public, and she knew bringing Blake by her side meant that Blake and Ryan could bask in the glory and attention of Taylor and Travis. If you think this isn't enough of a declaration from Taylor, she has done other things in the past to show the public how much her friendship with Blake means to her. Back in 2017, Taylor put Blake and Ryan's daughter's voice as the opening sound for her song Gorgeous. She also name-dropped Blake's kids' names, James, Betty, and Inez, in 2020 in her Folklore album. On the Eras tour, Blake brought James and Inez along with her to support Auntie Taylor. They hung out whenever they could, with Taylor coming trick-or-treating with Blake and Ryan. They posted for each other's birthdays with heartwarming captions. Blake and Ryan supported Taylor for SNL, the AMC Awards, the All Too Well short film screening, and more. Taylor even let Blake direct her music video, I Bet You Think About Me, and Blake got nominated for a CMA for directing the video. When Taylor won Favorite Pop Album at the AMAs, she personally thanked Blake on stage, saying,
"I want to take a moment to thank someone who directed the other music video, I Bet You Think About Me, my beautiful, brilliant friend, my director, Blake Lively."
Oh, Taylor, if only you knew your director was going to get this much of an ego and try to direct a blockbuster. But that's for later on. By November 2024, Ryan confirms that Taylor is the godparent to his daughters after Taylor commented that on his Instagram post supporting Deadpool. By May 2025, we get reports that their friendship is halted. The downfall of Blake and Taylor's friendship. A quick recap for anyone who had the joy of forgetting: when Blake took on the role for Lily Bloom in It Ends With Us, she tried to steamroll the entire project. Even though her co-star, producer, and director Justin Baldoni's production team owns the rights for the movie and has put all his efforts in making the film come true for the past 5 or 6 years, way before TikTok made the book as popular as it did. And the public was trolling Blake and the way that she went about the promo for the film. That was one thing. Then Blake's complaint against Justin comes out, and she's accusing him of things such as SA, SH, manipulation, grandiosity, and so much more. If you want in-depth and detailed descriptions, check out the videos we have done about both Blake and Justin. When Blake's complaint was out, I want to say for the first 48 hours, the entire internet took their trolling and hating on Blake back and started to feel really bad for her and for her horrible experience. Everyone was sympathetic because she's a woman in Hollywood alleging mistreatment behind the scenes, and it has happened to many before her. Then Justin Baldoni comes with his lawsuit that basically buries Blake, her career, her likability in the public eye, her relationships, and everything else. It was pretty rough. His lawsuit showed the full picture that Blake's didn't. It showed Blake's team editing messages, cutting things out of emails, and using things out of context on purpose, and so on. His lawsuit didn't just show the full picture that Blake's tried to hide, but it showed such a ugly and nasty side of Blake. Someone who really tried to use her A-list status with her A-list friends and husband to try and completely steal the entire movie from a whole production team. Not only that, but then she kicked out half of them from even enjoying the movie or promoting it together as a cast. Justin must have been so wronged that by the grace of God he had all this proof, including Blake trying to dangle her powerful connections, aka Ryan and Taylor, to threaten him and demand what she wanted. Here's how Taylor got dragged into this mess and is now subpoenaed as a witness by Justin's lawyers. Blake sent Justin a draft of the infamous rooftop scene in the film, which dramatically differed from the original. While Justin was hesitant about the changes, he thanked Blake for her passion and diplomatically told her that the scene would likely end up being somewhere between the original version and her version. Blake got annoyed and didn't respond to Justin for days before texting him that it didn't feel great to be thanked for her passion rather than her ideas, and that Ryan and Taylor felt the same way. At the time, Taylor's name was blocked out in Justin's lawsuit, but now we know it's her. Blake then hosts a meeting with Justin in her New York penthouse, and surprise, surprise, Ryan is there praising Blake's version of the scene, and right before the meeting ends, Taylor comes in and does the same. Justin says in his lawsuit that he felt pressured having two major A-list stars staring at him like, "It's great, wouldn't you say?" He then felt obligated to text Blake that he liked her version of the script and he would have liked it without the praise from Ryan and Taylor either, basically telling her, "You didn't need to get them on me." Blake's notorious text to Justin was, "I happen to have a few dragons, for better or worse, but usually for better, because my dragons also protect those I fight for. So really, we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise you." The context of the text was about Blake giving Justin ideas for how they should do the scene together, and she explained to him that she used to have a hard time being taken seriously or getting writing/producing credits, and that they, Ryan and Taylor, have helped her stand up for herself because they don't care about being liked or crushing egos. They sound charming. She's basically telling him, if you give me what I want, I can have my monsters help you out too. But otherwise, if you don't, then did I mention my beautiful monsters? In Justin's lawsuit, he says that he understood what Ryan and Taylor's presence meant at the meeting, and that these were two of the most influential and wealthy celebrities in the world who were not afraid to make things very difficult for him. I do want to point out that he was looking at Taylor like, this girl could very much make my life a lot harder to support her friend. He wasn't thinking to himself, I get the sense that there are some morals around here. And because of that, Taylor was looked at for half a second as an accomplice to Blake before she had her PR team squash that story in about half a second. Taylor's reps were quick with it, saying Taylor wants no part in this drama, and she's actually pissed off that she's being dragged into it, and that she did not come to that meeting to praise Blake's version of the script and pressure Justin. She just happened to walk in while the meeting was still going on. Taylor's team tells TMZ that she feels manipulated by Blake for getting called her dragon, and that Taylor came to Blake's apartment at the time Blake told her to, not knowing anyone else would be there. She didn't know a meeting was taking place. The source close to Taylor's camp tells TMZ that Taylor herself believes Blake timed her meeting with Justin so that Taylor would arrive before he left, and is baffled by Blake characterizing her as her dragon. That's how Taylor first gets dragged into Blake's mess. On May 14, 2025, Justin's legal team alleged that Blake threatened Taylor and pressured her to publicly support Blake amid the ongoing legal battles. Brian Friedman alleged that Blake demanded Taylor release a statement supporting her, and if she didn't, Blake was going to reveal thousands of text messages that spanned the course of their 10-year friendship. Brian argues that Blake allegedly requested that Taylor delete their text messages, which would be related to witness tampering if Taylor were to be a witness for the case. Blake wanted Taylor to delete anything incriminating about It Ends With Us. Brian also claims that one of Blake's attorneys, Michael Gottlieb, contacted one of Taylor's lawyers and demanded that Taylor release a statement of support for Blake. Brian said that one of Taylor's reps responded back to Michael and addressed the inappropriate and apparently extortionate threats in at least one written communication sent to Blake's lawyer, Michael. Justin's team argues that Taylor being a witness is necessary for the case because it shows that Blake tried to scare Justin by involving a massive A-list celebrity on board. Blake's team, on the other hand, does not want Taylor to be subpoenaed because it then opens up a can of worms for both Taylor and Blake. On May 15th, Judge Lehman, who was presiding over the trial between Justin and Blake, which was set for March 9, 2026, described Friedman's letter as improper and said it must be stricken. Judge Lehman wrote, "It is irrelevant to any issue before this court and does not request any action from this court." He continued, "The sole purpose of the letter is to promote public scandal by advancing inflammatory accusations on information and belief against Lively and her counsel. It transparently invites a press uproar by suggesting that Lively and her counsel attempted to extort a well-known celebrity." So unfortunately for us, we're not going to get any more tea about Blake trying to threaten Taylor for public support, since that issue didn't have anything to do with her legal battle with Justin. Blake's team said, "It took the court less than 24 hours to see through Mr. Friedman's irrelevant, improper, and inflammatory accusations, strike them, remove them from the court, and warn Mr. Friedman that further misconduct may be met with sanctions." Taylor's team wanted Justin's lawyers to withdraw the subpoena and argue that Taylor has had no involvement in the film and the film's process. They said she never casted anyone, never saw notes on the film, never saw edits, never stepped foot on the film's set, never made creative decisions, and the only reason her name is getting dragged in this lawsuit is for tabloid clickbait. The only connection Taylor had to It Ends With Us was permitting the use of one song, which was My Tears Ricochet. A subpoena would have threatened Taylor's carefully crafted public image and exposed aspects of her private life that she works hard to protect. As we've seen time and time again, once something enters the courtroom, it becomes a matter of public record, often revealing far more than anyone is comfortable with. Just look at the media storm surrounding Diddy's trial and Cassie's testimony as a prime example. It makes complete sense as to why Taylor would go above and beyond to make sure she does not have to get sucked into something that doesn't involve her. You don't just go on the stand to answer black and white questions for 10 minutes, you usually go and expose information you'd rather not have the whole world know. We've often discussed Taylor's strong desire to control her narrative, both here on this channel and on the Scandalous Media website. It's clear that maintaining her public image often takes priority over making bold or unconventional choices. So it only makes sense in the Taylor lore that she would get herself off the hook from needing to be involved in anything regarding the legal issues between Blake and Justin.
Wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles and we'd all eat it, be happy.
She doesn't even go here!
On May 22, Justin's lawyers withdrew their subpoena, and sources told TMZ that his side dropped it after information was voluntarily provided to them. Blake's team took their minor win and said they will continue to stand up for any third party who is unjustly harassed during this process. Daily Mail ends up exposing that the anonymous hero in Taylor's life who provided the information to Justin's attorney was Taylor's father, Scott Swift. Now, Taylor's father is just as calculated as Taylor, if not more. Scott Swift is a seasoned financial advisor and stockbroker. In addition to his financial career, Scott Swift played a pivotal role in supporting Taylor's early music aspirations. He relocated his business to Nashville when Taylor was 14 to help her pursue a career in country music. He also invested in her early career by acquiring a stake in Big Machine Records, the label that signed her as a teenager. He knows the ins and outs of having strong connections and how to use them. He's very smart and knows it. There was an email between Scott and a former employee that was submitted to court documents a few years ago. In that email, that is pages long, mind you, we get to see how Scott was the mastermind behind Taylor's early career and how he went to different lengths to get her noticed in Nashville and used every connection of his till she was at the top. I can make a whole video about Taylor's dad and how he was the mastermind behind Taylor's early career decisions, and how I believe Taylor's parents are the reason why Taylor has a sharp understanding of the industry. I've read the entire email, which is really just him crashing out over all he's done for Taylor, and it sheds a different light on Taylor and how she operates. So let me know in the comments below if this is a video you'd be interested in. Now, allegedly when Blake tried to threaten Taylor, word spread to Taylor's dad somewhere between February 14 to be exact, because there was a phone call, and this is when Scott Swift got information that someone has 10 years worth of text messages and that Taylor was going to eventually get dragged into this mess. Now, Taylor's parents have always protected her, and I do say that with admiration because they made sure the industry didn't destroy her the way it did to everyone else. And according to the reports, Scott Swift voluntarily shared details that addressed the concerns of Justin's attorneys, leading them to conclude that Taylor's testimony was no longer necessary. The source told the Daily Mail that Scott confirmed to Justin's lawyers that Blake's camp did indeed threaten to leak the private exchanges between the two. The source said, Scott Swift did not want his daughter to be dragged into this any further. Blake's team continues to say that this exchange has never happened. Even though the judge dropped all chances of Justin's lawyers using Blake's extortion of Taylor, it still caused further damage between Blake and Taylor's already shaking friendship. In a subtle but telling move, Travis Kelce unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on Instagram, fueling speculation that personal and professional relationships are unraveling in the fallout. Remember, Ryan and Blake were Taylor's couple of choice when it came to joining her and Travis on dates, hangouts, and sports-related events. So it's not like Travis wasn't once close with Blake and Ryan until all of this blew up. Taylor's relationship with Travis was not the first one where Taylor involved Blake. When Taylor and Joe Alwyn broke up, Blake and Ryan were quick to unfollow him on Instagram, making their support for Taylor public. Then when Taylor was rehashing her past with Maddie Healy, Blake was front and center sitting next to him during the Eras Tour show. As things turned sour with It Ends With Us, Taylor quietly threw a birthday party for Blake at her Rhode Island mansion in August 2024. The reason why we got reports of it is speculated to be that Blake spoke to the media to show them that her and Taylor were still friends during the climax of the It Ends With Us drama back in 2024. After that, they were spotted on a double date in October 2024. Then in December, Blake filed her complaint against Justin, a complaint she probably now wishes she never even thought about. Which begs the question, do you guys think this whole lawsuit complaint was actually Ryan Reynolds' idea and he thought he was smarter than everyone else, including top-notch lawyers? Let me know if you guys want me to make a video about his involvement and how his control issues might have costed both him and Blake their public support and possibly their careers. Even with the reports about the judge dismissing Justin's lawsuit against Blake, things are still not going well for her. Blake and her team celebrated their faux victory by saying, "As we have said from day one, this $400 million lawsuit was a sham and the court saw right through it. We look forward to the next round." Fans viewed Blake's reaction to her alleged victory as tone-deaf, especially since Taylor's image has been dragged through the mud, all because of Blake's possible shenanigans at the end of the day. Justin's lawyer rained on Blake's parade by saying that Miss Lively and her team's predictable declaration of victory is false, so let us be clear about the latest ruling. While the court dismissed the defamation-related claims, the court has invited us to amend 4 out of the 7 claims against Miss Lively, which will showcase additional evidence and refined allegations. So the war isn't over yet, folks, and Justin's team has stayed confident saying, "With the facts on our side, we march forward with the same confidence that we had when Miss Lively and her cohorts initiated this battle and look forward to her forthcoming deposition, which I will be taking." When news dropped about the court dismissing Justin's defamation lawsuit, Blake saw it as a win, but that didn't mean her friendship with Taylor did too. Sources told Us Weekly, although it was great news for Blake, she hasn't rekindled her friendship with Taylor yet. Taylor has not been in touch with Blake and still does not want to discuss anything to do with the lawsuit. The source continued saying that Blake is hopeful that the two will rekindle their friendship, but as of now, there is still distance. It makes sense why Taylor is still distant from Blake because, as we just learned, Blake didn't win her case against Justin. The judge only dismissed the lawsuit for defamation claims, but there is still a lot more for the court to unpack, especially when Blake and Justin both take the stand. Who knows how else Taylor's name will get dragged into this mess. And one thing about Taylor Swift, she is not going to be your friend if you can't clean up your act. Imagine being besties with someone who tried undertaking an entire film production and messed up so badly that she got everyone sent to court. If I were Taylor, I'd be too angry that my friend turned out to be an idiot instead of anything else. It's such a messy story, and the fact that Blake and her team have wanted to dangle Taylor, and that is now a public fact, is so pathetic it's almost laughable. Then on top of that, there's a bunch of videos of you being a mean girl, and the people who worked with you didn't have anything great to say.
What does it mean to be working with Blake again?
And now you're here getting exposed by your best friend's dad. As of right now, Taylor and Blake haven't publicly commented on the rumored rift, but the silence is loud. As silent as it can be, the New York Post reports that Taylor is actively ignoring Blake's persistent attempts at reconciling. A source told Daily Mail on June 3rd, even though Taylor has totally cut ties with her, Blake hasn't with Taylor. The New York Post alleges that Taylor is ignoring all calls, texts, and emails from her former bestie. She's been reaching out to her with texts, voicemails, and even emails begging to mend what they once had. Blake isn't giving up on trying to get her friendship with Taylor back on track, the insider added. Taylor hasn't responded to any of Blake's pleas. She's ignored all her groveling excuses. The missives explain that there must be some misunderstanding on Taylor's part and that she would never do anything to harm their 10 years of closeness and personal secrets, they alleged. The source further claimed that Taylor is icing out her friend because she feels betrayed and exploited by Blake. Taylor obviously still means so much to Blake, but Taylor's totally done with her. And as of right now, no request will mend their bond as far as she's concerned, the insider said. I guess it's for good reason, seeing as Justin's attorneys are still pushing for any texts between Taylor and Blake that have to do with "It Ends With Us." Justin's team argues that if Blake felt like she was getting harassed or treated unfairly at work, her text messages with Taylor could prove that. The latest news is that the judge granted Justin the opportunity to obtain texts between Taylor and Blake because Blake herself identified Taylor as someone who would know about complaints or discussions regarding the working environment on the set of the film. The judge said, given that Lively has represented that Swift had knowledge of complaints or discussions about the working environment on the film, among other issues, the requests for messages with Swift regarding the film and this action are reasonably tailored to discover information that would prove or disprove Lively's harassment and retaliation claims.
Damn!
It Ends With Us is definitely ending someone's career tonight. I'm curious to see how Taylor will respond. If Blake somehow manages to win the lawsuit, would Taylor gradually welcome her back into her life? Or is Taylor's silence her subtle way of showing us what their friendship would look like if Blake ended up losing? It doesn't take a genius to think that Taylor would not want to befriend someone who got exposed for lying about essay in court. But whatever ends up happening, we got you guys' back with the updates. Let me know in the comment section down below what your court predictions are. Do you think Blake's team has a Trojan horse, or is Justin going to steamroll her entire lawsuit? Let me know if you guys want a video about Ryan Reynolds and how his rumored control issues might have been the reason there is a lawsuit going on. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe for more, follow us on our social medias, check out our podcast. Thanks, and as always, I'll see you next time.